Welcome to Isafjordur, a small town nestled in the stunning west fjords of Iceland. It's a popular stop on many Icelandic cruise itineraries, but we wanted to see beyond the town itself. So we rented a car and set off on an adventure to explore the surrounding fjords, mountains, and hidden spots. Here's our guide to a one-day self-drive itinerary, perfect for anyone looking to go off the beaten path. Our plan was to explore 3 routes around Isafjordur. First, the fjord route took us south along the coast with sweeping fjords and waterfalls. Next, we headed north on the Bolafjall route into the mountains. And finally, the Holt route led us west to a secluded white sand beach. In the description below, we have a link to our custom Google map that showcases the 3 routes with their recommended stops. You can view a list of these stops and manage the visibility of pins and the driving route. We booked our rental car through Europcar, which has locations both in town and at the airport. If you're cruising, make sure to look for the Hotel Isafjordur location, just a 10-minute walk from the port. It's much easier than trying to reach the airport. Around the corner from the hotel, there's a gas station and a grocery store where you can stock up on snacks or refuel at the end of the day. Our day started on the southern route along the fjord road. Isafjordur has just a few main roads, and once you leave town, there's really only one way to go along the coast. It's hard to get lost, and we barely saw any other cars the entire day, which made it feel like we had the fjords all to ourselves. Not long after leaving town, we found our first scenic stop, which we're calling Scenic Spot Number 1. It's a small pullover just before the Arnardalshamar Tunnel, Iceland's very first tunnel and the shortest as well. After a quick drive through the tunnel, we reached the small fishing village of Sudavik, known for the Arctic Fox Center. This was the only town that we found along the southern route. As we continued on, we came to what we're calling Scenic Spot Number 2, by far the most spectacular spot of the day. It's located on a hairpin turn with panoramic 360-degree views of the fjords and mountains across the way. It was very windy, though. It's crazy because if something like this was in the United States, there'd be an entry fee and the line down the street, but here there was not a soul. Further down the road, we stumbled upon a treasure trove of waterfalls. It felt like they were everywhere. We stopped to take in a few up close and even refilled our water bottles straight from the falls. This was by far the freshest water I have ever had. Even though traffic is light in this area, make sure to keep using your hazard lights when you pull over and keep an eye out for any oncoming cars. We had hoped to reach Lambagill waterfall, but it would have been quite a long trek off-road. Instead, we explored another large waterfall on the road nearby, which was still incredible. At this point, we decided to turn back towards Isafjordur, retracing our path but from a new perspective. This southern route took us about an hour and 45 minutes round trip, including our stops. On our way back, we noticed there were more sheep than people around here. Watch out for these rogue sheep crossing the road, as they seem to wander wherever they please. Once back in Isafjordur, we headed north towards the Bolafjall viewpoint. To reach it, we drove through a very long tunnel that opened up to an incredible view on the other side. As we emerged, we passed through the town of Bolungarvík, which seemed to be about the same size as Isafjordur. Our route up to Bolafjall turned from paved road to gravel, and as we climbed, patches of snow turned into massive snowdrifts, a wild sight for June. We took it slow, enjoying the snow-covered landscape and mountain views. However, as we neared the top, the road to the viewpoint was closed for cars, likely due to snow and ice. We'd hoped to reach it, but safety comes first. The views on the way back down were spectacular though, and so it was definitely worth the drive up there. Back near the tunnel, we stopped at Isafjordur Maritime Museum, a quaint spot with traditional fishing huts covered in grass roofs, giving a peek into Iceland's fishing heritage. And then just beyond the museum is the Öxular Lighthouse, a bright orange structure that really pops out against the landscape's blues and greens. It's definitely not tall, but it sure stands out. We still had time left in our day, and so Jonathan, my co-pilot, checked out Google Maps and told me to head west towards Holt. We headed back towards Isafjordur and then headed west. Just outside of town, we passed a great waterfall, and we're planning to stop there on our way back. This route took us through the longest tunnel of the day. Jonathan did not tell me what was on the other side, but he hinted that it would definitely be worth it, and he was right. We arrived at Holt Pier, which was in the middle of nowhere. It was like Iceland's own Caribbean. The beach was lined with white sands and turquoise water. It was an interesting sight because black sand beaches are so common in Iceland. There was not a single person around, so we had this stunning view all to ourselves. On our way back, we returned through the tunnel and stopped at Bunarfoss. There's a small parking lot here, and we thought we were going to stop for a minute to admire the view, but then we spotted a trail that winds along the waterfall up the mountain. We followed it part way to take in the views. It was a perfect final stop to wrap up of our day of exploring. As our time in port was coming to a close, we returned to Isafjordur to drop off our rental car, reflecting on an unforgettable adventure. We saw towering mountains, quiet fjords, hidden beaches, cascading waterfalls, all the things that no one else in our cruise experienced. If you're visiting Isafjordur, we highly recommend the self-drive itinerary, in whole or in part. We are already looking forward to coming back to Iceland and discovering even more. If you're interested in learning more about Isafjordur and the other things to see, check out our port guide on our website. It's linked in the description below. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you've liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments if you've explored Iceland or where you'd like to go next. I hope Isafjordur's on your list.